Well, I can see that there's no 49er gear on anybody today, so I guess we're not celebrating today. I don't know if that's a coincidence or.
Yeah.
I was just too hot to put on anything heavy and hats or anything. So
No, I wasn't feeling it today. Wasn't feeling it. Strange.
Yeah, that was kind of a shitty loss, huh?
did you guys see the see the Purdy comment to the defensive coordinator afterwards?
No.
Yeah, he
Came
said,
out to said
Go
really
ahead.
good scheme, man, or really tricky scheme. Like just admitted he had him beat.
Yeah,
He's talking
Don't
Vikings
fucking say
coordinator.
that shit.
yeah. He was being. I mean, sometimes you just got to be real. I guess you got to just say what's
Yeah.
on your. You know, it's
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Niners have some adjustments to make, and I was watching some video today with Spencer Burford being the weakest link on that offensive line. This guy was breaking down the tape. I was watching it over lunch, and God, it's just embarrassing, man. There's so many plays when you slow down the tape and just watch. You just focus in on Spencer. Just watch him. He's basically just standing there, lets the guys go by, and then he turns
Yeah.
around and watches the play. Like that's
But
all he's doing,
he didn't last week.
dude.
Unless you saw it on tape, but I don't remember seeing that.
The tape I'm talking about is he's breaking down the Vikings game. And
Yeah.
they're just the guy's just he's not doing anything. At least at the clips they're showing, he's just watching the plays. He's got his back to the play half the time, staring at Brock Purdy. Like it's crazy.
Kind of like Chase Young on defense last year.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of effort, and I don't know. I don't know how much longer they can let that go on for. Obviously, not long, but
Yeah,
I
I
heard a
don't.
lot of people blaming it on not having McCaffrey, and McCaffrey's great. We all know that. But I don't think this game was because of McCaffrey wasn't there. I think we have the pieces. We were out coached. I put most of that on coaching that game.
I would say that if anything has to do with McCaffrey, it's this. And I think I posted this in the 49er thread, but I'll say it for the rest of you guys is that McCaffrey is a great get out of jail free card, right?
Sure.
When the pressure's coming, he was always Brock Purdy's favorite, and he would just kind of throw these off platform throws to McCaffrey. Great thing about McCaffrey is he can improvise. It doesn't have to be a perfect pass. It doesn't have to be in the perfect angle. He doesn't have to be standing in the right position. He was able to catch a lot of stuff and get Brock out of trouble. And when he's not there, Jordan just doesn't have that same skill set. Jordan's a runner. He's a great runner, but he's not a pass catcher. And there's not really anybody in the backfield that can take that pressure off of
Well,
Brock.
Juszczyk has great hands.
Not the
But
same
I mean,
type of
I get it, but I think we can coach those guys up enough to at least go stand in the flat where Christian usually is, and at least have somebody to catch the ball. I really think it was outcoached, but it's not a Niners podcast. I'll drop it.
It's fine. Do you guys like the comparison of Jordan Mason to Marshawn Lynch? Did you guys hear that or see that at all?
I didn't.
No, I haven't
In
really
what
heard
sense?
that.
Like running style?
Yeah, just like he's built the same way. He kind of reminds people of a Marshawn.
I think his aggressive running style is similar, but obviously he doesn't have the same size that Marshawn had.
Right.
I don't know that he sheds tacklers the same way that Marshawn did.
So in the first week matchup, I heard a stat that he had 137 yards. I remember right. Mason, 90 or 97 were before contact, which means the O-line was just fucking getting a push. Amazing. But that's amazing. You don't see those kind of stats that often.
Yeah.
So that means very little after first contact. I think we just got really lucky that day on our O-line play.
Well, I mean,
we'll see.
I didn't watch the game this week because I don't have an ability to watch all the games. It wasn't on normal TV, so but I was following along on the app, watching, and it seemed to me that he was getting 9 yards here, 7 yards here, 8 yards. Like it seemed like when they need him to make the runs, he's able to do that for them. But I felt like they were getting away from it a little bit here and there. And maybe you guys can, speak to that. But like there was a few times when I was expecting it to be another run. And then one thing I did notice is sometimes he'll get like all the way down to the end zone, and then he seems to struggle at the end zone. You know what I mean? Like he had that one nice run around the right. I think it was like I saw the highlight or whatever, but he seems to struggle sometimes around the end zone. Do you guys notice that?
Well, no more. I mean, I didn't see it with him personally. I'll just talk to the general. Nate can talk about him specifically if he wants. But I mean, that's true in general. It's always harder once you get closer to the goal line.
Well,
they stack the box, they give you
yeah,
different defenses, that kind
I
of
get
stuff.
that.
So
I get that.
I haven't seen him enough to know if it's him or just because he's closer to the goal line.
Got it.
Yeah, and the Niners, they're at their best when they're running a zone blocking scheme. And they're probably the best in the league at this. And that's the 5 offensive linemen all working in coordination to open up huge holes for running backs. And nobody does it better than Kyle Shanahan and our offensive line. The tape I was talking about where they're breaking down and showing how bad they are, it's all in pass protection. It's when we're not running the zone blocking scheme, when we're just trying to protect Brock so he can pass. It's not pretty. So they're going to need to work on that.
No.
But hey, last point about that game, and then we can kind of use it as a segue into the fantasy. Sam Darnold. I know you guys are big Sam Darnold supporters. You've liked Sam Darnold for a long time. You're both USC guys. I've always been an anti-Sam Darnold guy.
Until this year.
Matt, you know that in 2 different leagues, both on Sleeper, I had Tua as my quarterback and I lost him. So I've been on the hunt for a replacement quarterback. I've been sending out trade offers like crazy. I mean, I might have sent at least 2 offers to every single person in both leagues, including you.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting a lot of bites. But I do have a couple of offers sitting on my desk, and I'm trying to decide. Obviously, the fact that I haven't accepted any of them is to tell you that they're not the best offers for me.
So is the one that you're waiting on me to say yes or no to, is that the best for you?
No, what I'm saying is I have a couple that are sitting proposed to me that I can accept, right, at any point.
No, but I'm saying is the one you offer me better than all those for you?
Yeah, because I like Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr.
I'll give you David Darnold right now.
Rest of season, I like Derek Carr better than Sam Darnold. But I want to get your guys' input on this one trade because it's the only one that I'm even halfway considering. In Dynasty League, Sam Darnold, he would give me Sam Darnold and Jalen Wright, who I know you also like, Matt, but I would have to give up Jonathan Brooks. That's all it is. 2 players for 1. Sam Darnold, Jalen Wright for Jonathan Brooks.
What has Brooks done for you lately?
Dynasty. Well, he's on IR.
He's on IR.
I know. That's the point I'm trying to make. You got something proven. You got Darnold scoring points.
Yeah, but he's talking dynasty, brother. We're talking like next 5-10 years, not just what do you do for me this year.
Jonathan Brooks, just you. I mean, Ben, in case I know you watch more college ball than I do, but Jonathan Brooks, they say, is kind of like a Jamal Charles type. Yeah. He's very dynamic. He was one of the best. He was the number 1 running back taken in this year's draft in the NFL. Yeah. And
injured already.
Well, no, he was injured before the draft. He
tore his ACL. I know. But that's what I'm saying. He's already has a major injury, right? So like you already need to discount him by a certain amount, right? Because nobody's ever perfect after they get hurt like that.
The discount was paid where you drafted him because you already knew about the injury. So that discount's already been paid. That's, to me, it's not involved in this part because he's almost back.
Yeah. They're saying he should be back in, 4 to 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So Ben, in your opinion, you're saying take the bird in the hand that's a known quantity, right? Sam Darnold, but you have to remember the Vikings also drafted a young quarterback themselves. And Sam Darnold's been known to be a bit of a pumpkin. At midnight, he turns back into a pumpkin, right? We've seen this from him before. In fact, I was reminded of it. I was watching a show this morning, and they said, remember 2 years ago in Carolina, through week 4, he was the number 1 quarterback in the league because he had all those rushing touchdowns. You guys remember that? So, I mean, Sam Darnold's kind of done this to us before. So that's where I'm hesitating. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I like Brooks. I don't know that I'd be trading him away. I mean, that's kind of where I'm sitting. I didn't move on any big quarterbacks. I didn't move on Darnold anywhere. I didn't move on Skylar Thompson. I moved on Andy Dalton in our league, and I'll tell you that why later. But yeah, I would keep the running back. I think I'd keep Brooks.
Okay.
Yep.
What was the other piece?
Jalen Wright, the 3rd running back in Miami, who's also very dynamic and
but an injury away from hurt to start the season. Not a pre-existing injury like Brooks, but he's been hurt twice since the season started already.
Yeah.
So that's a little different.
I've still got it sitting up. I even messaged the guy and said,
"You like that?"
I even messaged the guy and said, "Hey, this is interesting, but I'm going to hold out for better options if you don't mind." He said, "That's fine. Take your time." So he knows I'm still shopping, but I don't know. It's kind of a close one.
Now, when guys say that to you, when guys say that to me, like, oh, don't worry, I'll leave it there. They know they're going to win that trade, right? I mean, like, it's not one they're that worried about.
By the way, this guy came after Brooks like 3 weeks ago when he was first put on the pup. He came after and offered me for Brooks. I mean, I know that this guy obviously is a fan of Brooks, and he probably was mad that I sniped him in the draft for Brooks. It was a startup draft, and he's using every opportunity he can to try and get him. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of quarterbacks, just because I saw this crazy note and I wanted to say, and I'm in this boat because I have Jaden. Did you guys see the stat about Jaden, Caleb, and Bo Nix?
Was it like really good about him or bad?
No, it's interesting. What's interesting about it?
Huh?
Yeah, 3 rookie quarterbacks, 196 total attempt passes, I should say, 0 TDs. It's the most consecutive pass attempts with 0 TDs in NFL history between those 3 rookie quarterbacks. Yeah. And Matt, I know you've been yelling at me for years now. Rookie quarterbacks, but not one touchdown out of 3 starters. 196 pass attempts.
Makes sense to me.
Damn, but a couple of them are winning games too, right?
Yeah.
Jaden won a game.
Did Jaden win the week
Caleb
one?
won his first game.
Caleb won a game. No, I know, but I'm just saying.
But wins don't matter for fantasy.
No, yeah. I understand that.
Yeah, I know you do, brother. I'm just talking.
I was just thought it was an interesting
touchdowns
point.
as a whole have been down. I mean, across the board in the NFL.
Oh, passing yards are down by a ton.
And touchdowns as well.
Do you know the passing yards are so low
since like 2004 or some shit. For the first
our stats are going to correlate because passing yards are like back down to like 1992. And honestly, the peak I should have screenshotted it, but yards went up every year from like 90 to 2016, and then they've gone down every year grammatically. That's a stupid word for the grammatically. Okay, whatever. Okay, but it's gone down every year since, and it's back down to like 1992 thing. So they're talking about the guys who I was watching said, now that all the defensive backs and linebackers are sized differently to play the pass, now they're going back to the runs, and it's been happening for 7 years now that running is up, passing is down because they can take advantage of the smaller defensive backs. It's interesting to think that if that's going to trend, and we know it's all cyclical, should we be valuing running backs more the next couple of years going forward? And it was just a real interesting thought to see the stats laid out like that.
Well, the interesting thing is from a fantasy perspective, we haven't really seen that bear out yet, right? Because over the last several years, you've seen the exact opposite. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. You can look at our draft boards from just 3-4 years ago where running backs dominated our drafts. They were the highest priced players, Jonathan Taylor, CMC, right? It's only been the last 2-3 years that we've seen wide receivers be the most dominant players in fantasy. I actually have a different take on it. I think the reason we're seeing less yards passing and less touchdowns passing so far is because there's so many so many quarterbacks that run now, right? It used to be that you would have a whole league of passing quarterbacks and you would have like 5 or 6 guys that could run. Now I think I would like to see what the actual numbers are, but the pendulum has swung the other way. I think we have more running quarterbacks now than pocket quarterbacks.
Yeah, dual threats versus the typical passer or pocket passer.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at even guys like Jalen Hurts when things got tough in that game on Monday night. He looks so awesome doing it. Just runs around the corner and takes off. Mm-hmm. You look at guys like Anthony Richardson who can't really pass at all. Right,
he's a great running back.
Right. Yeah. So Jaden Daniels coming into the league. There's so many of these guys now that it's not a surprise that the passing ball.
Josh Allen, same thing. He's a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
He ran a lot this week. I got to watch that game. He got to show his feet off a little bit.
Yeah. So, I have an interesting thought now. It just popped in my brain. So I wonder if the stats that I just threw out, I mean, I know they're accurate, but what I didn't think is, I wonder if passing yards are not down because of attempts, but down because of penalties. So if your team's getting 100 yards in pass interference, that used to be pass yards, maybe we should be adding those yards into the passing numbers to get the real of how many pass attempts they tried, how many yards they attempted. That's an interesting way to think about it, I think. I'll have to do some research.
I've said for years that I would love to give when there's a pass interference, I would love to give those yards to the quarterback
Hell
and
yeah.
even to the wide receiver, right? Like if he would have caught it, if it wasn't for the penalty, why are we taking it away? Give it back to him.
Dude, if they ever have a penalty league where like holdings go against people and everything, I'm playing. I'm in. I've always thought that'd be an interesting way to play football, man.
How do you
Really
predict injury or predict penalties though when drafting? Oh, like you look. I guess you could look at his past history, right?
Yeah,
but,
there you go. Yep.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
It would just be interesting.
But situationally, it's different every week. So
you would do that league for fun, like we did our short bus league.
Yeah. I get that.
Where it's the most interceptions and fumbles are the that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You throw a touchdown, you're fucking screwed, man. You lose all those points.
What a shitty league to be in.
Well, do you guys have a fun weekend last weekend? You have good results, bad results?
Well, I mean,
horrible results.
Yeah. I think you're the only one that won, right?
Oh, am I? I didn't mean to ask it that way. That's sorry, guys.
Yeah, it was not a great weekend, and it wasn't a great football watching weekend for me either. We were out in Vegas to go to a baby shower, and I knew the baby shower was in the afternoon, but luckily the Niners played a morning game for they only do 2 a year, right? Yeah. And they had a morning game, which is great. But I went to go watch at the Rio Sportsbook, and they got all the TVs. It's fine. You could see all the games, and the only reason I chose Rio is because that's where my hotel was. That's where we're staying, But they fucking put the Niner game on in the very upper left-hand corner. You could barely even see it. Couldn't hear it. Had to put on my iPad, but then it's not synced to that TV. Yeah, it's a fucking... Yeah, so it's not a fun way to watch the game.
When you guys were talking about where to go, I think it was you and Steve more or less talking about that. And I think you said it was like $150 to watch the game there, right? Or to be in that area? My question was it like Texas bar where your food and drink come off the 150 or out of the 150, or it's 150 plus everything?
No, it's just 150 to have a seat.
Woo! Oh, and if you spend 150 on food and drink, it doesn't come off that, nothing like that.
No, they do give you some drink tickets that you can use, which is okay. So I got drink tickets. I think they give you if I recall correctly, because this was 2 years ago, it's like a book of 6 drink tickets that you get. So technically your drinks do kind of come off of it,
okay,
but not the food. But it's amazing. If you've never seen it, I mean, I know you went to Circa because we ate dinner there when we were in Vegas, but I don't know if you went and looked at that actual room.
I know what you're talking about, but no, I'm not in person. I haven't seen it.
I mean, it's just a whole wall of big screen TVs, comfortable couches, the legs go up. When you're sitting there, you're just you feel fully immersed in, all the games. And it's like stadium seating. It's awesome. I mean, it's the best place to watch football, probably in the world.
Better than the Sphere? That would be a pretty bitching game in there.
Better than the
tackles coming over your head and shit.
Better than the Sphere does that yet.
Wait.
Not yet.
Better than the Budrow's football club and swim club pub.
My house is doing its best to replicate what the Circa does, but on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
No, of course, it's awesome. And I would pay the 150 gladly. A couple times a year to go there.
I'm glad you're not charging that at your house. I mean, Jesus.
Well, actually, what Nate said last time we talked, I think he probably has better drink service at his house. Yeah, he said. Gets her right on there.
The funny thing is, I've only done the Circa once, and when I show up to go watch the games, I called a friend that lives in Vegas and said, "Hey, meet me down there." He says, "All right." I get there, I didn't realize it was $150, and they tell me, and I'm like, "Oh shit! I know he's not going to want to pay that. Fuck it, let me just buy them both." So I buy both. I don't tell him, I just buy them both. Hey, I already got a seat for us. Meet us here. He comes and sits next to me. He watches the first half of the morning games. I'm gonna go out take a walk down the strip. Or down the Fremont Street. Never came back. He's not a big football fan, so that's to be expected. But and maybe if I told him I spent 150 on a seat, he would have come back. But never came back.
Oh man,
Fremont can do that to you, man. Fremont can suck you in and you never not let go for a while.
Yeah. Anywho, I lost badly this week to Alex. I had the low score of the week, and the high score of the week, since we don't usually do that, but I'm doing it anyways. Jeff Stroud myself 178 took out I think that's Ryan Christian Sucks. Is that his new name? That's a strong name choice there, Ryan.
He's Catholic, so I think it makes sense, right? Christians suck.
I guess so. What a heartbreaker. Oh, sorry.
Give you some inside baseball on Ryan's team name.
Yeah. I was just gonna say. I mean, to score 170 though and lose by 8 points is like, that's rough, dude.
So I'm texting with Ryan and Bill last night, and Bill's in the thread, but he's not participating. But I'm trying to do a dynasty trade with them, right? They're the co-owners now. They took over Megan's old team.
Yeah.
And I'm texting with Ryan back and forth in this thread. And then we kind of get to the conclusion we've decided we're not going to do a trade right now. And he goes, "Hey, I got a question for you. What do you think about this team name for the main league? I've been forsaken by Christians." And I had to think about it for a second. I go, "Oh, is that because you have two guys named Christian and they both suck?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Why don't you just name your team Christians Suck?"
Yep.
Good choice. I like that.
Hey, if you come with a pretty good name, Nate will find a way to shorten it and make it better. That's a service we offer podcasting.
That's right.
Yeah. I considered a name change this week. I think I'm going to at some point. My name's just, I'm having no luck. Although, I can't blame it on my name as much as my team's just horrible.
I was going to say, dude, you're named after a guy you don't have on your team. So I think that might be a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem.
Yeah, he's an old dude. Like,
I can speak from experience that a good name change at the right point, and you don't want to do it too early, right? But a good name change at the right point in the season can be just the motivation your team needs to break out of its funk.
Yeah.
It's happened multiple times for me. I changed my name, all of a sudden I go on a streak.
It's good. Unfortunately, I might need a name change and a few trades to get me out of this situation.
Ooh, trade time.
I'm just saying, dude, my team is hurting.
Well, Terry McLaurin, I mean, that guy's got no value. Daniels throws what, like less than 20 passes a game? There's just not enough yardage there.
Yeah, just rub it in, bro. Just keep
it's not, brother. It's not about you. We're talking football. But I have him in a dynasty league. It might be the one I play with Nate in the flex. Yeah, the flex dynasty. I have him, and I have nobody to trade him out for. But I don't want to play him.
Yeah,
like
I'm actually considering. Yeah, I'm actually considering starting Kirk Cousins over him next week.
I started him last week. I mean, dude, Pittman. Can you play him? I don't know. McLaurin, can you play him? I don't know. Oh wait, is this the thing you posted last night, Nate? Like your whole team, like it was like 4 points or less than was that you?
Yeah, they're both on that team. I mean, it's
terrible. I have them too.
Yeah, I know. And
what do they have in common? They both have quarterbacks who run, right? Which is like full circle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right
full circle. Full circle.
We're just gonna clip this and play it before next draft for you, brother.
Yeah. Well, I'll never do this again.
I doubt it.
I mean, technically, I should have the worst team in the league, considering last week I played without CMC, without Kenneth Walker, without Keenan Allen, right? I'm missing all the guys that I have, and then the rest of the guys that I had, I traded. So, I mean, I was stoked to even have a chance going into Sunday night. I thought if Tank Dell just had a good game Sunday night, I could actually beat Josh. And Tank Dell fucking lays an egg.
He's another guy. Can you play him? Can you play Dell going forward? I have him everywhere.
Yeah, you.
I don't even know if you can play him.
No, I think you have to.
Flex.
I think the underlying metrics show that he's due for a breakout at any point. And by the way,
at this point, a flex is only you can't start him as a wide receiver 1, 2, or 3. I don't think. Not until you see something.
He's a flex. I mean, depending on the makeup of your team.
Always, yeah.
You brought it up last week with the difference between him and Diggs, and so I won't rehash that, but that hasn't changed. I mean, you look at the second game, the statistics are the same. They're still trying to get him involved. It just hasn't happened yet. So I think
they're playing Chicago, so they didn't need to put up a lot of points. They only had to be 13 points, right? So
yeah. So I'm still buying Dell if I have an opportunity to. But yeah, he let me down, him and Worthy. If either one of those guys just had a halfway decent game, who knows? I'm 2-0 in this fucking league without CMC. I mean, what a miracle that would have been, but it's not to be. So
what's your record?
1-1.
1-1. All right.
Yeah.
You know the guy who impressed me? Bobby. 163, Bobby. Good job, man. Good job. I haven't really looked at how it happened, but it's just fun to see with all the shit he's heard and all the bad choices he made and every ragging on him. He put up third highest score, I think, from first glance.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Bob.
I'm playing him this week.
Olave only had 12.8, which isn't huge, but I will say the biggest surprise so far this season, not just fantasy wise, but biggest surprise total, has been the Saints offense. And I'm not wholly surprised by it because we knew Clint Kubiak was going there and they were going to install some of the Shanahan play action and a lot of the movements. And so I knew all that was going to happen. But part of the reason that I was down on Olave and willing to trade him is because I was reading a lot about how bad the offensive line is and how jittery Carr looks behind a bad offensive line. So I really expected that to be more of an impact going into the year. I mean, is Carr and Kamara, are they not like the MVP right now? Like the Saints are the best team in the league, and Carr and Kamara are both leading that charge. So I think that's the biggest surprise so far this year.
So I was listening. I think it was late round podcast, JJ. I think he said he had a guest on, if I'm right, and they said going into the season, the Saints are ranked like 26 in the offensive line, and they're number 1 right now. Like every now and then you get a team that just comes out of nowhere and just gels and plays right. But yeah, you're right. They were not expected to be good at all. So
have they played anybody of
Dallas Cowboys?
Okay.
I mean, they whooped the Cowboys in the week before. Who did they play week 1? I forget.
Week 1. But somebody also good though. I don't think either of them were slouches, if I remember right.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but they look good. And you watch.
Oh no, they played Carolina week 1, but they still put up 47 on them. They still put up 47. I mean, that's
they've got 91 points, I think, through the season. So regardless of who your opponents are, if you're putting up 91 points through the first 2 weeks, something's working, right?
I mean, if you're going to get a Kamara resurgence, you know what I mean, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago or however when it was that he was like just went crazy. If you're gonna get that again this year, good luck everybody else, because when he's locked in, dude, he's something special.
Well, it's hyper focused. They're not using tight ends. They're using Kamara. There's no other running back they're using. They're using Olave and Shaheed. I mean, there's no what's the tight end's name? The quarterback tight end guy. Yeah, Taysom Hill. Like they're not using him. They kept saying they're going to use him. So I think that because they focused on their best play guys and didn't worry about spreading it out, I think that's what they're doing. Looks really good.
Yeah. I mean, do we expect Shaheed to be the wide receiver 1 in New Orleans for the foreseeable future, or is this like an anomaly that Olave is going to eventually step up and become the wide receiver 1? I don't know.
I don't know. Wasn't he good? Wasn't he also good last year, Shaheed? Didn't he show?
He was boomer bust. He was boomer bust. And the funniest thing from last year was when Derek Carr was mic'd up and he said, "Hey, Shaheed, I've got a play I want to call. It's called just run and I'll throw it to you." I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah. The Mike Evans play. Yeah, good. Perfect.
Yeah, and it just seems like that's what they're running this year. It's just fucking outrun that guy and I'll fucking find you out there. It's
sometimes that's all. Yeah, sometimes that's all you got to do. You know what I mean? It's as simple as backyard football. Sometimes, just outrun the dude and look up for the ball.
So one of my
might be the more talented wide receiver, but in this offense, it does seem like Shaheed is going to be the one that's the benefactor so far.
Yeah. I thought A.T. Perry was going to be a thing this summer. He's like 6'5", 220. He blocks well. I thought he's going to be a big red zone target. And it's only 2 games. He may still be. But, if they stay hyper-focused on those 3 guys like I just was talking about, maybe not. But I thought he'd be a guy there. But
you guys ready for Rams talk?
What?
You guys ready for Rams talk?
No, their season's over. No. It's done. It's over. Put them to bed.
Put them to bed.
Put them to bed.
No, the only thing I want to talk about is that
nobody like picking up Tutu Atwell. Nobody.
Are you pointing at me, brother? Because you're pointing at me right now.
Oh shit!
No, he's pointing at me.
I'm pointing
We're
at
all different spots. We're all different spots.
I'm excited about Cody Parkinson actually maybe catching some balls.
Colby Cheddar. Kobe.
I will talk about Tutu Atwell because I know you're kind of dialed into the Rams, Ben. What's your not specific to Tutu, but in general, while Cup and Puka are out, who's the guy to own there? Is it DeMarcus Robinson? Is it Tutu Atwell? Is it the fucking Tyler guy? Who is it?
Tyler Johnson.
Isn't there Whittingham or something, or Whittington?
Jordan Whittingham, who they were very excited about coming through preseason and everything, and coming into the season. I was only bringing it up because I have the tight end, and I think he's gonna probably benefit a lot from being one of the big targets out there across the middle that they're gonna have a chance to just keep, But also, is everybody else like Are you thinking about what's Matthew Stafford? What's his value now?
Well, let me push back on your Kobe Parkinson, and then let you finish up. But they lost another offensive lineman this week. So I think they're down 3 or 4 of their starting offensive linemen.
Mhm.
So I think he might be needed to block more than he's
That's
needed
not
to
what
catch right now.
Yeah, I have heard people say, but I've also heard a ton of people saying, on all my fan forums I'm on, my Rams forums, they're all saying how Parkinson could be the guy. You know what I mean? Could be the guy to step up and take, Tutu Atwell obviously is one of the most seasoned guys they have on the team right now. So you would expect him to step up probably. But no,
Well, the thing about Tutu is when he's on the field, I saw a stat that when he's actually in the game, that he has one of the highest target shares on the team.
Exactly.
The problem is he's just never in the game. So for
whatever
he
will be now.
Yeah, for whatever reason, he doesn't have the trust of the coaching staff. But hopefully now that there's all these injuries, we'll start to see him. But who knows? I'm not starting him this week. We'll kind of see how that plays itself out. What I'm actually hoping for, and what I want to talk about with this Rams game is with Kupp hurt, with Nakua hurt, with Debo out, with CMC out, all the superstars are out of this game. You know how fickle LA fans are. You know how fickle these season ticket holders are. They don't want to go if there's no stars playing in the game. And their tickets aren't going to be in high demand if there's no stars in the game. So I was planning on going to this game with Sean and Jeff like I did last year. But Jeff backed out a couple weeks ago. He said he couldn't do it. Sean's out. So it's basically just me. And Portia made plans with the kids because she thought I was going to the Rams game. So it's just me. And I think what I'm going to do is wait until Sunday morning and see how low these tickets go. Because if there's no stars and the season ticket holders are having a hard time selling their tickets, how low do these tickets go? Like an hour, 2 hours before the game, do they drop below $100? Do they drop below even lower than that?
Well, I'll be there, so you can come say hi to me if you show up.
So I don't have a lot of good information on the Rams. I know it's Ben's team, but that Whittington guy or Whittingham,
Jordan Whittingham. Jesus Christ!
I've heard 3 different podcasts in the last couple of days say they believe he's a direct replacement for Kupp, 1-to-1. So that's the guy. I guess I would think he'd be hyper targeted, maybe, but
could be.
Whittingham sounds like something you do in like supermarket sweepstakes. Like you're just trying to win a ham.
You win a ham? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wish I had it. Right now for that one. What other major injuries? Is there any Pacheco? I feel like there was like
let's
10
run
injuries.
that backfield down real quick. That'd be interesting. Ben, your thoughts on that backfield going forward?
Wait, the
Kansas City backfield with the injuries.
Now I want you to say it's Samaje Perine.
No. Carson Steele, Samaje Perine, and Kareem Hunt are the 3 guys right now.
Well, look, I'll be honest with you. When I saw Kareem Hunt's name come across the thread, I was like, "What the hell? What year is this? Where are we?" And then I started doing a little research, and I was like, "Okay, all right, he might." But it looks like that Carson Steele kid is the real deal Steele. What are you talking about? He looked okay when he came in and ran this weekend. He's a big bruiser. He's
a fullback who has highlight runs because he's super aggressive.
Okay,
but no, he's not a full package. I don't see him as being.
Perine's not the full package either. He's a receiving.
No, definitely not.
Oh, I would not.
Do we really think Old Man Hunt? You really think Old Man Hunt's going to come in and be the guy?
No, but
we could see Leonard Fournette back, baby.
Here's what I'll say about Kareem Hunt.
Truck.
Do you guys remember why Kareem Hunt's no longer a Chief?
Because he's old as hell.
Violence or beat somebody or something crazy.
Well, yeah, he got in that hotel incident where he put hands. Where he didn't even put hands on a woman. He kicked her.
That was 2016, though, right? That was
right. But here's the thing. Yeah. It was not because of the incident. It was because he lied to Andy Reid. When Andy Reid asked him about it, he lied about the incident. And so they actually stated that was the reason they let him go, is because they couldn't trust him. So you don't trust the guy, you let him go. Now all of a sudden you welcome him back with open arms because your running back is hurt. I don't know. I find that a little
interesting. Necessity changes stuff. You know that, dude. Come on. Come on. Of course.
By the way, how old do you think Kareem Hunt is, Ben, without looking at it?
27 years old.
No, he's got to be 29 or 30.
Yeah, he's 29.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 29.
He was playing for the Chiefs in 2016. It wasn't his rookie year.
I was trying to give him some credit. Yeah. I knew he was old as hell.
That is old in running back years.
Old as hell. Come on.
Yeah.
If I was,
Dude, they're just going to ramp up the passing. He's going to pass it 50 times a game. They're not even going to run it. He's just fucking,
If I was handicapping it, I would say for the first 2 weeks, it's going to be the Samaje show, but I would not trust Samaje as a fantasy option. I think he will be the most valuable of the three, but I wouldn't trust him. And then a few weeks from now, I could see Kareem Hunt being the most valuable running back. By fantasy playoffs, I could see Kareem Hunt being flex worthy, is my personal opinion.
Okay, so what about Clyde? He's only on the NFI list because he has PTSD. It's not an injury. He can come back in 2 weeks. He knows the system. I think I texted out yesterday. It's going to be a running back by committee. It's going to be ugly. You'll never know who to trust.
Wait,
because honestly, only one of them needs to get a screen pass around the outside to have a great game, and they do it all the time. So could be.
My only issue with CEH is that they gave him all the opportunities to be a bell cow, and we saw what he did with those opportunities. He wasn't very good, and so I don't know that he shakes up the running back room that much. But you're right. Just adding him to the equation in a few weeks is going to make it even muddier and make it even harder to trust any of the guys. Right?
Noah Fant or Noah Gray, can he run the ball?
That's a tight end.
I know he's a tight end.
They just gave him an extension, but I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think they'd want to do. He's a tall guy. I don't think.
I still think Carson Steele could be the guy who. I mean, they were talking a lot about him during the game about how they really like him and everything. I mean, why not just run him out there and just keep running him downhill?
Keep running him downhill. In my opinion, he runs wild. Like Nate said, he's a very aggressive runner, I think is what you said.
Yeah.
Which could lead to injury. And if he's your only bruising back, you don't want to wear him out and hurt him. If you
okay, so he's the goal line guy for sure, right? He's going forward.
Probably.
So Samaje's the pass catcher. Steele might be the goal line guy.
Does that add value to him as a flex guy?
Hunt is your between the 20s guy, right? That's
all right.
Probably something like that.
All right, 2-minute drill, gentlemen. Let's go. What do we got? Any questions? Anything?
Yeah, so I'm running out of this IPA that Joe left at the house. I've only got one left after this, so I appreciate Joe if you could ship me some more. That would be kindly appreciated. Just support the pod. We would all appreciate that.
Matt, you got anything for us?
I found out my 2 local liquor stores don't sell truly 12 packs, so I'm fucked.
My question to you, brother, is I've heard that you were only drinking salt water from now on. Is that true? And tell us why. I have started
drinking salt water, yes.
Yeah. And tell us why. Why?
It's supposed to help the absorption, but it's way less. Like sea salt water is 35 grams per liter. Pool salt water is like 6 grams per liter. I'm drinking like 2 grams per liter. It's barely salty.
You're talking about electrolytes.
That's are you making it yourself or are you buying this?
Yeah, but like doing it Celtic sea salt. It has a bunch of minerals and shit in it. I'm just trying it, man.
Packets.
I'm just seeing if it'll make it healthy. Seeing it'll help.
Yeah. I heard that today and I was like, I got to talk to my brother about this. I got to find out.
I like to know that my sister's talking about me behind my back.
Is he trying to turn into a merman? What's his goal?
I like the visual of Matt just drinking nothing but ocean water. That's just walking around with a mug. Yeah. That's a good visual.
Yeah.
All right, who's gonna take it down the high score this week, guys? Anybody got a pick?
I haven't
I put in my predictions already, and I'll tell you the 2 teams that stood out to me the most were Jeff's team stood out as being somebody that's very formidable, and the other one I believe was Ryan's team looked pretty formidable.
Yeah, me and Ryan's up predicted 145 over my 140 right now, but all the check marks are on his side as being better than mine. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna go stick with the